Definitely the most interesting thing that I found in our home office when we were purging the other day are the notes that I left for our very first paid babysitter. Look what I dug up. So I'm gonna read to you sort of what those notes detailed. Now we start with our names and different cell phone numbers. It appears that my husband and I were actually going to 2 different locations. I left phone numbers for the location that I was going and for the hotel that my husband was at, just in case we didn't answer cell phones, either one of us. Also left the information for the pediatrician and their office number and their emergency number. Okay, so I feel like all of that stuff was, that's a normal thing to leave for a babysitter, right? I can't fault myself for that too much. Here's where it starts to get a little weird. I began to leave notations of things for her to do with him as the time passed in half-hour to 1-hour increments. Please know that I believe this girl that we hired was 20 years old. I begin. 5 to 6, let's play in the house. Don't let him play in the street, but in the house. 6-ish, so I gave her some leeway. Dinner. 6:30 to 7, jammies and diaper. Please apply generous amounts of diaper cream and place the dirty diaper in the trash can. In case she was unclear about where to put dirty diapers, I have it all covered right here. 7 to 7:30, play, read books. Now it is time for the bedtime routine. Oh, be sure there was a routine, and it was very important. Turn out the lights, in case you didn't know. It's easier for babies to sleep when it's dark. Turn on the noise machine. Rock with the blanket, and offer a sippy of milk. He may fight this part, and that's normal. After a few minutes, lay him in the crib, awake, and cover him with his peach, fuzzy, soft blanket. There were several blankets that we had at the time, so it was really important that I let know which blanket was the blanket that we covered him at night with. Leave, in case there was any confusion. After you lay the baby in the bed and then you cover him with the blanket and the lights are out, at that point it is probably good to remove yourself from the room. See, I had to make that clear for her because what if she did not know that? He may cry for a little, and this is normal. You can go in and check on him at your discretion. And at the bottom of this note, because at the time it was so important to me to impress upon the people in our lives that I was still hip, and I was still with it, and I was still fun and cool, even though I had a baby. I wrote, help yourself to anything, even a glass of wine or a beer. Again, pretty sure the babysitter was 20 years old, so I'm totally okay with offering somebody underage a glass of wine or beer while they are monitoring my child, but I have to be sure that I explain to them to turn out the lights before putting him to bed. Yeah, so there's that. 2 pages of babysitter notes for the very first time that we left our first child with a paid babysitter. Classic. I will say that it is really scary to leave your baby alone for the first time, especially when it's your first baby. And so there is that part of a new parent who really wants to take control of that situation and make sure that they have all their bases covered. And I do recall that my first was pretty tricky to get to go to sleep, and there actually was a routine that definitely helped get him there. So I will say that in defense of this lunacy. I highly recommend that somehow, whether it's in a baby book or in a box or something, that you save the notes that you leave for a babysitter the first time that you go out. I think it will be amusing for you to look back on that. Don't forget to tell me all about the first time you left your child with a babysitter in either the comments below here on YouTube or click through to my blog post on babyrabies.com.